All right, hey guys, it's Albert Ramirez with the Ramirez Team.
I'm Randall Wooten with Alert Home Inspection.
We're here at 2150 Shady Grove in Peaster, Texas. Brand new, beautiful construction. And Randall here has already done the initial inspection on this home. A week ago, we had an awesome walkthrough. Trinity Classic has done a great job on this.
Yes,
what they're allowing us to do, they've been great at working with us on all this finish out. And Randall had a great list to give them as a punch list. So Trinity Classic's using that entire inspection report that Randall conducted and completed, and they're going through and they're finishing up everything that we found and some of the things that they found. They do a really thorough walkthrough, make sure the house is perfect for their new home buyer. And so this is our client's house. They'll be moving in here this weekend, and so we're excited to get this walkthrough, finalize everything that Randall inspected to make sure it's completed. And so Randall's going to walk us through and kind of talk about those things.
We found a lot of stuff on new homes. You find a lot of things that the builder just hasn't gotten finished yet. Some of it is just minor paint detail. These guys are coming in. These are craftsmen here doing some beautiful work, great touch-up work. Some stuff that you would see just like one missing weep hole, and they've already added that. So when we get down doing the inspection, we're in the very, very finite details. But Trinity Classic has done a great job of taking care of that and walking through and making sure this stuff is ready for the new client.
And they really got on it quick. As soon as we got that inspection report completed, we sent that over to them. They didn't hesitate, used the entire report on top of whatever they thought might have been an issue, walked back through. We blue taped everything. We went through rolls of blue tape, and that's gonna happen. That's normal.
Yeah, that's normal.
It's normal.
It is a construction site, so you're gonna see some things that take a little damage on the onset.
Cool. So let's go take a little closer look, and Randall can kind of explain some key items that we found that maybe they needed to be a little more up to code, or some things that were just out of place or needed to be fixed.
Okay.
Right, Randall?
Sounds good.
So let's go take a look at this house.
So we talked about weep holes over the windows. These little spots where you see the grout missing, this is a weep hole. These window openings have steel lintels to help support the weight above them.
Okay, I want to break that down because there's a lot of terminology, and so when we get into that, weep holes, right, Randall?
Yeah, see this opening
what's a
right
weep
there?
hole's significance?
Okay, there's a metal lintel here. This steel lintel helps support the weight of the mortar and the brick above it. So that lintel supports the weight, and it also boxes in this frame. And the weep hole, what it does is allows for air to get behind the brick, but also if there's ever a moisture issue, it gets the water off that metal lintel so it doesn't rust and you don't lead into damage in the future.
Great. So that's something you found. And so he even checks all the weep holes. So that's how thorough Randall is. And you got to have a great inspector on your side that's going to make sure they don't miss anything. So they went ahead and got on that. They fixed it.
Yeah, they've got it fixed. It's been added into. He'll do some touch-up paint around it, make sure it's ready to go again.
Cool. All right, let's check something else out.
So even some minor stuff, and they just haven't got around to it yet. So this is an exterior hose bib, and on a hose bib, you're supposed to have a vacuum breaker. What a vacuum breaker does is if there's ever a break in the system and you've got a hose hooked up to it, it won't draw the water back into the house. So it's an air gap.
Okay.
And they'll add that in. That's a minor deal, but again, we're here to take a look at it, and so we wrote it up for you.
And we wouldn't even know to look for that, right? And most of us, just common citizens who don't have a master license inspector like Randall doing those things would have no idea. It's a perfectly good working faucet, right?
Right, yeah, it works. It just needs that air gap on.
So you got to know those things.
Albert, right here is where a live cable in comes through there. It's what they use in foundations now.
Okay.
Instead of rebar, they use a post-tension cable.
Okay.
And then you'll come through and cover these cable ends like this. Well, during the inspection, we noticed that they had missed one, and they've already been on it and got it patched.
Perfect.
So they've already been responsive as far as the needs.
They did a good job on that.
Yeah, they've got it covered up. Everything looks good. Anytime you have exposed steel, you have a potential to have some rust. So they've already got on top of that.
Fantastic. And so you'll see this is something I want to touch on. You'll see this construction site, like Randall said earlier, there's debris, there's dirt. All this gets completely cleaned up. It's going to be spotless and immaculate when the new homeowners take over.
One of the things we called out, Albert, that's again part of the process. You see where they've done the grading and leveling of this yard. They've done an excellent job here.
Yeah, it looks really good.
But on the septic system, anytime you have disturbed soil, sometimes it settles. So we called his attention to that, and he told me that he's got someone coming out here today to regrade this yard.
Okay.
And
and I do know with these septics, they have when they install these septics, they have to set them in, and you can't pack that down.
Correct.
Okay, and why is that?
You don't want the dirt and things packed around to where it gets to the point that it doesn't allow the pipes and the equipment to move, and that way you can evacuate water. This one, the drain field is back off here, the spray off field, and you don't want those pipes being broken during this installation process.
This is an aerobic system.
It is, yes sir.
Okay.
So it has 2 tanks, and it has a high water lift and then an air pump. This air pump puts air into the system, and there's a float that's in this final tank. And when that final tank float comes up, it will activate a submersible pump that's inside there, and it will start pushing water to the back. And there's 2 effluent sprinklers in the back. Now the sprinklers are purple, and so that identifies them as different between the irrigation system. That is a septic system, and it evacuates the water in the back.
And some people might say, oh, that's gross.
It's been treated.
Okay,
They've got chlorine and everything they add to it to treat the system. This is an on-site sewer facility.
That's fantastic. So you're not just spraying
Right. Wastewater in the back.
Okay,
Yeah.
good. So a lot of people, that kind of turns some people off, right? All right, what else we got to look at?
When we were out here the first time, we were not able to check the cooktop because the homeowner hasn't established where they're going to put their propane tank at.
Right, and so it's going to be 100 gallons, so it can be up here towards the house.
It can be within 5 foot of the house.
Okay, and that's what one thing that we need to address is there's different sizes of propane tanks.
Correct,
right?
yeah. Anywhere between 90 gallons to a 250 gallon. I've seen 1,000 gallon tanks. And that affects how close they can be up to your house.
Okay, yeah, I have a 500 gallon at my home, and we've got to be we can't be closer than 10 feet.
10 foot, that's correct.
Correct, so we just put it off to be safe. We put it off a little distance.
Absolutely.
But this one's smaller, so it can be right up against the house.
Yeah, this is a 40 gallon tank. This is them just using it for a testing process. One of the other things that we found when we were here doing the inspection was the plumber had drilled into the wall, and the brick mortar had been removed.
Okay.
And they've already come back in and sealed around it, and you want that sealed to where you don't get moisture penetration going into the house or insects, yellow jackets, things like that. We are in Texas, so you're going to have lots of those.
Yeah, if you have these holes open, any type of cracks in your trim, wood rot starts to happen, and then homes turn into habitats, right?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yeah, and that's a bad deal. So you want to make sure all this stuff's patched up.
So when we come on into the garage, and we'll talk about the electric service for a second.
So something that comes up quite often and on any inspection, older homes, but even in new construction, is there's some stuff that just isn't completed on the electrical. And so what we find is maybe it's just not up to code, maybe it just needs a little more safety, and Randall's here to show you what happened on this one.
Yeah, there's been an update to the National Electric Code, and the 2020 code now states that you're going to have exterior surge protection, and I just spoke to the electrician. He's going to add it into it, so it's not here currently, but he'll get it added into it.
Perfect.
So these are called arc fault protection. This is a newer technology that has not been in a lot of homes. A lot of people are familiar with GFCI, which is the test reset button on wet locations. Well, an arc fault breaker does the exact same thing, except it does it for an arc or a short. Those have been known to cause fires. And so they've added arc fault protection, which are these white ones here. Now, if you look, there's a purple one here. The purple is a combination. It's an arc fault and a GFCI. So this house does meet the newer standards as far as arc fault protection. The only shortage we have right now is the surge protection, and the electrician's here right now. He's going to work on it and get it installed.
Perfect. So did a great job on everything. Just had to add that in, and we're up to code.
Yeah, absolutely. Very responsive.
Perfect. What are these big tanks here, Randall?
Okay, this is the pressure tank. Out here in the rural area, we don't have a public water source. We have private water wells. The well is on the front, and this is the pressure tank. This is what provides the water pressure into your house. And if you notice, there's a gauge here. And the way this, in a nutshell, Albert, the way it works is the submersible pump that's in the ground pumps water up, and it comes in here to a bladder within this pressure tank. The pressure tank is continually squeezing. When someone turns on a fixture inside the house, it provides the water pressure. Wow. So this gauge will start dropping. Okay. When it drops down to a certain preset level, wherever they've got this pressure set at, it will kick on the submersible pump, which will refill the bladder, which will continue to press and give water pressure.
So it is a holding tank.
This is a holding tank, and it provides water pressure back into the house.
And then this holding tank feeds into
the
water
domestic or the outside. So any water fixture on site.
Cool. And sometimes you'll see another system added to this, and that's a purification system.
The water softener. That's what the electrician here is doing. He's putting in a dedicated plug for a water softener system.
And a lot of times when we need those, there's a lot of iron, calcium build up, and you get those corroded fixtures over time if you don't have that in.
And that's a naturally occurring product in the groundwater. So
it's not a bad thing.
It's not a bad thing.
But it is for fixtures.
And it catches people off guard sometimes. Yeah. They see a little calcium buildup.
Still good drinking water, still fresh. It's actually probably healthier for you than what we're drinking.
Yeah. So let's go on inside. Albert, one of the things that we do on a house is you have to have an enclosed garage for fire protection. And when we got here originally, this is a fire-rated door, and this house did not have a self-closing hinge on it. And so now the standard says if you've got a fire-rated door, you have to have a self-closing hinge. It makes no sense to have a fire-rated door if it's left or has the ability to be left open, and they've already installed the hinge.
That's great. Now we're on the inside of this beautiful
you
Trinity
can really
Classic
see
home.
the finish out.
And you're starting to see all the finishing touches. They're going to come through, clean every bit of this. It's going to just look beautiful. Cabinets are going to be 100%. But we're going to walk through and just kind of show you some touch-up spots that we marked, and they've jumped on it. They were working so hard yesterday, today, and tomorrow to get this house finished up for the buyer.
Okay. When we come out and did the original inspection on the fireplace, they hadn't come in here and painted the wainscoting. They've already done that. Albert, I'm telling you, the painters here are top-notch. They have done a great job. They've got this wainscoting painted. They've come over here on the side and filled in with grout and caulking to match this area between the brick and the sheetrock. Wow. And really made that clean and finish out look nice.
Great detailed work, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
And then you love the shiplap, the brick, all the aesthetically pleasing things that you get in a new home. But that's not really what Randall's looking for. Randall's looking for the problems.
Yeah, I don't judge pretty.
Yeah, he's not here to design, right?
I don't sell homes, Albert. So
So you got 3 bedrooms. This is a split bedroom concept. You've got 3 bedrooms on this side with a full bath, and then the master's on the other side, and we'll go walk through that here in a minute. All right, what did we find in this kids' bathroom?
A lot of times on these tile bathrooms, we're in Texas, and so there's going to be a little bit of movement, especially on new construction. So you may see a crack here and there that they haven't had a chance to address yet. Well, in this bathroom, there was cracks that showed up in this tile wall. Okay. And they've already come through and adjusted the grout that's in there and sealed this to where no water can get back into this and create a water issue. So again...
And that has to be a certain type of grout for showers, doesn't it, Randy?
Yeah, the grout that they use has to be waterproof. So there's a difference between brick mortar and grout, which they're both waterproof. But the sand grout that they use in here is, when it dries, it's not going to expand out and all that kind of stuff. But they've done a great job of finishing out these trim lines, and just a beautiful bathroom.
Yeah, beautiful. Tough to go wrong with subway tile.
Here's another spot. That's a touch-up that we put. See the blue tape, Albert?
Yes.
Between y'all's team and us putting blue tape, these houses look like they have freckles after a while.
Yeah, and that's what we mean by the blue tape walk, right? We just get rolls of blue tape and tape every single thing, every deficiency we see.
Yes, yep. And all that does is help relate to the builder what we're trying to make sure we say to them.
Right. Hey, more blue tape.
Yeah, so what we're noticing on this frame is there's just a few scratches, just some finish up work, again, to make it finished out to where it's ready for the new client.
Okay. And we pointed this out, but man, these workers are just getting after it. They're out here making sure all this detail stuff, and you're going to get that with a new construction home. A lot of times buyers don't know if they want a new construction, if they want a pre-existing. Sometimes you don't have the option of a new construction depending on where you're at or what kind of location or your budget. However, it is so hard to beat new, guys. I'm gonna tell you right now, it is just hard to beat new. I say it all the time. If you can go with a new construction, whatever your budget is, we work with some amazing home builders that we recommend, and we will get you in the right home, like this one here, or something similar. But man, it's hard to beat a home where you're turnkey and you don't have to do anything, Randall.
Right, yeah, you're good for a couple of years there, and you also, at the most modern standards, you have new equipment, new appliances, things that are going to last for a while.
Yeah, that's great. All your mechanical, all your electrical, everything that you go into a pre-existing home, you might have to start changing those things out. With a new construction, generally you don't, and a lot of that stuff's going to be warranted.
A lot of it you get warranties on, Albert.
Yep. So it's a good idea, especially for a first-time home buyer who's like, hey man, I don't want any maintenance, any turnkey. I just want to be able to mow my yard, change the filter out in my AC every once in a while, and clean the house, and I'm good. New construction's probably for you.
It gives them a chance to learn about their house also, to become familiar with the systems that are there, and they're not worried about having them worked on and having to maintenance them and keep them up and running. Sure. They've got a chance to learn what it is.
Yeah, that's great. All right, let's take a look at a couple more things. All right. All right, what are we looking at up here, Randall?
Okay, what I want to show you is the technology that's been used in this house.
This looks awesome.
So this has open cell spray foam. And this spray foam it closes all the voids all the way around it.
Okay.
So you don't have a lot of air loss, and there's not a need for ventilation. If you look, there's no ventilation in this house. And the reason being, this becomes a conditioned space just like everywhere else in the house.
Okay, so there's no ventilation here, so that means there's no vents going out through the roof here.
That's correct. No roof turbines, no ridge vents, anything. This is a conditioned space.
Wow. So this is the way to go here, spray foam.
Spray foam is absolutely the newest technology. It has a great reception and does a great job. Yeah, I can really tell it when I'm using that infrared camera, the difference in air loss.
Really?
Yes.
So it makes not only does it take care of your equipment longer, but it also reduces your cost and utilities. And
your utility cost is going to be less month to month, and so it's going to pay for itself. It's about a 25 to 30% increase on cost, but it really pays for itself as time goes on.
Wow, that's fantastic. So spray foam, the new thing, the way to go.
Yeah,
cool.
Absolutely.
What else is up here that you notice, Randall?
Well, when you start looking, again, going back to the builder taking pride in what they've done, see these saddles, Albert, these yellow?
Yes.
Okay, so what they've done is put saddles underneath these air ducts. And what that does is prevent the air duct from sagging or drooping around that 3-inch nylon strap,
okay,
and restricting the airflow. So it cuts off the airflow, so you'll have a difference in temperature between one area and another one.
Okay. That's good to know.
Yeah, they've really done a great job up here. You can see the difference. Now this is a return air duct here. So see the difference between this spot here?
Yes.
And this saddle here?
Yes.
That's the difference. But
so that's just bringing air back. That's sucking air from the house, bringing it back into the unit?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
You good? Can we help you?
Yeah, we'll let you get up, man.
He's trying to work and we're up here. So one extra thing to mention on this is when you have an insulated attic, Albert, you need to make sure that everything terminates to the outside. So the bathroom vent fans, the dryer exhaust, the vent hood, everything needs to terminate outside. And then, I'm not sure if we can pick it up from here, but there's a duct over here that runs across that top one right there, Albert, all the way across by the chimney.
Okay, I see that one.
That's going out. That goes to the outside, and it's bringing fresh air into the system.
Okay.
To where you don't have the same air circulating through the house all the time.
So bringing fresh air from the outside, filtering it through here,
yes,
pumping into the house.
Correct.
That's awesome. Okay. Attic's looking good, huh?
Okay. Albert, there's more blue tape in here.
Okay.
And during the inspection cycle, we put this piece of blue tape here to show that this tile still has a gap.
I want you to notice how minor this is you might even overlook that, or even if you notice it, that's not a big deal, it's not doing anything. We've got to get that filled.
Yeah, again, you have a water penetration potential. If it gets behind this tile, there's all kinds of opportunities for water to grow in there and create problems for it.
Be a mold issue.
So, correct. We put that blue tape in there just to call their attention to it. I'm sure they'll get it taken care of here in the immediate future.
Very nice. And then there's just some blue tape here on the ground.
Yeah,
also,
this is just paint touch-up.
Just paint touch-up. Something as simple as just getting some paint done. And then you can see on this light switch here, no stone goes unturned.
Well, we try to pay attention to them. You know, we're there to help them and educate them as well.
But again, beautiful, beautiful restroom, beautiful quality work. You can see just by the detail stuff they do in the attic to insulate it, the things they do to finish out. So they've done a great job on this home.
Yeah, again, when you come from the construction cycle to they're about ready to close, and it's fixing to be handed off to y'all, and you go from there. So for me, I go through, do the inspection, call their attention to it, work with y'all, create a punch list or a repair addendum, and from there y'all work with the builder and get the builder on board and make these repairs. And then we'll come back out if the client calls for us to come back out and do a follow-up, which is what we've done here and met you out here.
And that's what we like to do. We like to make sure that everything that Randall addressed in the initial inspection report that were deficiencies, he's the man to come back out, look them back over, because he knows what he's looking at. He's the expert. We may have an idea. We're very experienced as a real estate team as well. I get my eyes on a lot of these things. I know what I'm looking at, but man, I got to have this guy in my corner. He goes back, looks over everything, makes sure it checks off the list, and hey, we're good to go.
We appreciate the chance to work with you. So this is the well, the submersible well.
It's a cool rock they put in your front yard.
This is the cover for the well. This is where the submersible pump is at that pumps water into that blue holding tank or pressure tank that's in the garage.
Cool. So this is where all your drinking water, all your bathing water comes from, down deep in the ground. So anything we might need to know about that, about a well and quality and maybe water pressure?
Well, there's a couple of different aquifers in this area. There's the Biloxi, and then underneath that's the Trinity. So you can decide which aquifer you want to go into. Trinity's a little deeper, costs a little more, but you can decide what you want to do. Also, on the water quality, we can take water to the lab and get a breakdown of anything that's in it and get the exact readout and present it back to the client.
I think that's important sometimes. If you have a history or an area where you might know they have some water issues, depending on where you're at in the ground and how far down you drill or how shallow you do, you may have some different type of water quality. So you want to make sure you get that tested if it does become an issue.
Yeah, if you've got questions about it, we can take care of that for you.
Perfect. All right, hey guys, remember it's Albert Ramirez with the Ramirez Team, your preferred realtor.
I'm Randall Wooten with Alert Home Inspection. You can reach us on the internet at www.alertinspector.com, Facebook, Twitter, wherever you need to find us at. We can help you, let us know.
Hey, Randall's a great part of our team. We use him for all of our inspection needs. Please contact us. You know how to get a hold of us. We're on Facebook, IG, social media, or you can just call or text. Look forward to helping you with all your real estate needs.